Hello and welcome to the Recovering Dad podcast. I am your host, Marcus Ashcraft. Today we have a solo podcast. Actually, I am re-recording a couple segments that I did, and when I went to upload them, there was no audio. So now I am actually recording with my full setup instead of my laptop with the USB mic. For some reason, the preferences or settings weren't set up, and I'm having issues figuring that out. So maybe I'm just dumb. But anyway, this is me, re-recording what I already had. Excuse me. And, instead of doing three small segments, I might do one big segment, just talk about the things that I did in the others. But anyway, welcome to a solo podcast. Here soon, I'm hoping to start having guests. But for now, you guys can sit and listen to me complain about my life as a recovering dad and, things that went on in my life or in my past. Today, I kind of wanted to talk about recovery in general and, what recovery means to me. And also pose the question, what does recovery mean to you? So I want to, first off, let's hit the like and subscribe buttons, all that jazz. Leave comments below about, how well I'm doing, or if you want to be involved with the podcast. You can email me at recoveringdadpodcast@gmail.com. Hit me up on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, all that jazz. But anyway, here we go. So recovery for me is any action that I can do that puts me in a former state that I want to get back to. Like, recovery for me is working on myself a little bit each day to where I'm better mentally, physically, all of those things. I'm better by the end of the day or the end of the week, the end of the month, whatever my small goals are. That's how I gauge my recovery. How I assess certain situations that come up in my life, certain stressors or situations. Recovery to me is me putting a valid, positive effort into enhancing my life. And that's it. Any little thing that I can do that whether helps me, helps my family, helps our future, things like that. Anything that is a positive light on maybe a negative situation. But the definition of recovery is a return to a normal state of health, mind, or strength. The action or process of regaining possession of something lost or stolen. And I really like that definition because, in a way, addicts, we are regaining our life. Our life was lost. Our spirituality was lost. Any strength we had to carry on was lost. Or it was stolen from us by drugs, by the choices that we made. So I like that. I know that definition probably doesn't, is probably for possessions. But our life is our ultimate possession. Our mind, our views, these are things, our values, these are things that were lost or stolen from us in recovery that we're trying to get back. And definitely a return to a normal state of mind. And I think in the recovery community, the word recovery and sobriety and addict, addiction, junkie, these are like trigger words almost. Because people are like, well, you're not in recovery, but you are. This is what's so awesome about the community, the recovery community, is that if you say you are, then you are. And the way you show those is through your actions. The way you show that you're in recovery is through your actions, not through the things you say. So you can say you're in recovery, but you better show that about service, and about just treating people with respect, and being open-minded and willing to help someone in need. The recovery community is a community in which, if you say you are, then you are, and you have to just prove it through your actions. But there's a lot of people out there. There's a lot of negative talk in the recovery community about, well, what is recovery? You got 12-step pushing against the MAT people, or the smart group people, or the marijuana maintenance people. All of these forms of recovery, they are in fact recovery. Even within the 12-step fold, there's, I think, 10 or 12 different subcategories of 12 steps, ranging from AA, NA, CA, Al-Anon, Celebrate Recovery, and there's many other 12-step programs within that, and they all have their own little variations, their own little books, their own principles and steps. But that's just one form of recovery. You could also, well, I don't like 12-step, and I can't get with the God concept, or I have issues with their views on using with an injury, or whatever step it may be, or whatever issue you may have. There are other options. You can do SMART recovery, which is self-management and recovery training, and they have their own values and goals and principles for their the people who choose to that route of recovery. There's medicated assisted treatment, like Suboxone, Methadone, Vivitrol, things of that nature. Sublocade. That is also a valid form of recovery, because everybody is different. Some people use marijuana as a form of recovery. It helps with their anxiety, it helps with their sleep, it helps with, all these other ailments that they have, whatever it may be, marijuana works for them. But there's also all recovery groups. There's moderation management, and there's also people who are forced to do some type of recovery, whether it's DOC, there's SAT programs, people who are in jail or in prison. So there are countless ways to get sober, ways to recover, and they're all right and they're all valid in their own way. Because what worked for me did not work for my fiance or my best friend or whatever it may be. And that's the beauty of it, because we all are different people who come from all different walks of life. Addiction ravages every socioeconomic group, every one of them. Nobody is safe when it comes to addiction, unless you're armed with the tools to succeed. And I feel like as a community and as a group, we need to come together and be like, you know what, we're fighting one enemy, not each other. Let's fight the drugs. Let's fight the system. Let's fight, pharmacies, this, and that. Let's try to become one instead of many fighting the same battle, But I don't know. I just kind of want to touch on that because I got sober through 12-step recovery. I lived in, I was DOC mandated, but I wanted treatment, so I knew I needed to get my kids back. I knew that I needed to straighten up and grow up, and I knew that this was a route in which, because I couldn't do it myself. Me getting in trouble and being put in jail and forced to clean out and forced to sober up, and then the fog lift and have that moment of like clarity to be like, you know what, this is good for me. This is going to be good for me. This is going to change my life. This is going to put me in a position to where my dreams and my ambitions are able to, build and succeed and grow stronger. So I knew that rehab, even though I was made to go there, was something that was good. And going into the situation, I had that thought, and I think that helped me kind of, I'm here, let's see what it's about. And I learned a lot. I worked the steps. I worked the program. I got a sponsor. I stayed sober, and I used the steps and the principles every day of my life. For the first 2 years, meetings every day, 5 times a week. It was for the first 2 years, and 12-step taught me so much. It saved my life. It got me sober. So I owe a lot to 12-step programs. But I have issues with 12-step programs because if you're in a meeting, and I get it, they have their steps and their principles, and without those, it would be chaos. So that's why they have the other subcategories like NA, CA. So if you're an addict and you want to get sober through AA, well, you need to go to NA. Or you can go to HA if you're a heroin addict, CA for cocaine addict. Whatever your disease is, you have to, if you want to use the 12 steps, you use these subcategories so you don't violate the principles of that group. It's understandable. But I experienced in a lot of meetings, in a lot of rooms, AA rooms, was there was still judgment of people who got sober, are doing great, working a step, working a program, working on themselves from the inside out, but they are on a maintenance medication like Suboxone or methadone, Vivitrol, and they tell them they're not sober. You're just switching one for the other. And I don't have that viewpoint. I 100% am for, advocate for MAT, and I know multiple people on whether it's methadone, Suboxone, Vivitrol, Sublocade, and the person that they are today because of that medication, along with other tools that they've learned along the way to build a foundation for the recovery, they are night and day that person that they were when they were using. 1,000 times I would choose, the Suboxone or the methadone or the Vivitrol over someone using. They're in a better state of mind. They don't have to worry about the triggers or the cravings or any other type of imbalance they may have had while they were using. This medication is helping them get back into some type of normal routine and normal way of life. And also, those medications, there are people out there who have, pain issues and pain problems. Those medications help them with those type of ailments. So to say anybody's recovery is less than yours is wrong, 1,000,000%, because you're feeding the stigma and you are basically killing someone. You're saying, hey, you can't come in here and say you're sober. You can't come in here and talk or voice your opinion or talk about your experiences this week because you take a medication that is helping you live and helping you have a life. There is nothing wrong with having to do medication, just like marijuana maintenance. That is also a valid form of recovery. Medication has a million different properties. Whether you have anxiety, whether you have trouble eating, whether you have trouble sleeping, whatever it may be. And there's also, other serious, things. There's GI issues, whatever it is, whatever you use marijuana for, and also practice recovery, and you say you're in recovery, then you are. These are things that you need outside of your program or outside of what else you do, your support group and your support system. These are things that help you be a productive member of society. And for anyone to say otherwise is jealous, wrong, whatever it may be. But you're killing people. Telling people that you're not sober when they are sober and they are trying to do something different than what they used to is wrong. I can't say it any other way. Your way is not the only way. And this isn't just 12-step. It's also other programs. And not only just within the recovery community, but people in general. The general public dislikes addicts. And also they dislike, some people in recovery, and we get a lot of crap from people, and it'd be great if we didn't also get it from our peers in the program. The best you can do is just be supportive, and if you don't like it, then just don't voice your negative opinion, or maybe talk to the other person with that other point of view and kind of figure out, like, how can we come to an understanding, or maybe you can't, and it's just to each his own. But I don't know, I'm kind of passionate in that sense of, if someone is really trying, you meet them where they are. And if they slip up and relapse, or they don't get it the first time, you know what? You still be there, and you be supportive, and you say, hey, look, that didn't work. Let's try a different form of recovery. Let's do this. Let's do that. Or, hey, let's try that same one again. Maybe you weren't ready the first time. Maybe you weren't armed with the facts about, your mind and your body and your past, or whatever it may be. Whatever a program does, it allows you to see your life from an outside point of view and be like, you know what? I see why I chose the things I chose. And that's all recovery and sobriety does. It lets that thing lift up off of your shoulders for a moment so you can make the right decision, the better decision, the decision that, yes, it's ultimately harder. This life, the life of recovery and life of sobriety, it's not easy. It's not. I mean, every person, every regular person does it. They get up and do it every day. They get up, they go to work, they make their money, they come home, they take care of their kids, they feed their family. But we're doing it with an extra little monkey on our back, and it's easy to just say, you know what, forget it, and go get high and live on the streets and be a bum and all this stuff and just give up. But this has more pride attached to it. This has more a sense of accomplishment attached to it. This life of recovery, it grants you so many great opportunities. That never in a million years would I have ever thought I could have gotten when I was using. My sobriety, my recovery is something that's super important to me, and without it, I wouldn't have the things that I have. We have a home. We have my children have a million toys, which I know not the material doesn't matter. Those aren't the promises, but you know what I mean? We got, she has a car and I have a car, and, we've got furniture and we got TV, and all of these things, yes, they are material, but these are things that I did not have and I would have not have had when I was using. But also the things that I have relationships with my family. I have relationships with my in-laws. I have relationship with my fiance, with my kids. I get to go out and roll in the grass and play and laugh and tickle and all of this fun stuff, get to relive my childhood, but I get to choose the toys this time. You know what I mean? So like, and as a dad of boys, they're just rambunctious, just everywhere, boys full of energy. I get to do that, and I would not be anywhere close to a good dad if I was still using. There's no way. All of your money and all of your life and all of your energy you put into your addiction. So all of that energy and that drive and that hustle and all that stuff that I was using for the negative in my life, I now switch it over and I use it as a positive. Anything I do, I try to put the best of my ability into it. Anytime I am needed, I try to be present and aware and, put effort into it. I feel as if you just put minimal effort into positive things in your life, you see a change. I think it's because from where you saw such a negative your life was so full of negative things in your addiction that once you just turn a little bit of it into positive, waking up, making your bed, waking up, taking the trash out, or waking up, or paying a bill, or calling somebody and asking them how they are. These little things are just little nuggets of like positivity. Um, the hustle and the drive that you used to have to go find drugs, you use that same hustle and drive to go find a job, and then you find this job that you dreamed of having when you were younger, that you wouldn't have had if you were using, obviously. I never kept a job when I was getting high. It was awful. So little things like that. I don't know. We get to take trips and vacations now as a family. As before, you'd have to be like, oh my gosh, I got to figure out how am I going to get drugs for this, and are they going to be able to find? Are they going to find me? And blah blah blah, all these things. And now it's like, we're gonna go to the beach, and we're just gonna have fun, and we're just gonna be, and just enjoy life like life's supposed to be enjoyed. We're only here for like 80 years if you're lucky. And in the case of addicts, we've got, 40 years if we're lucky. You know what I mean? I know multiple people that never made it to their 30s. Multiple people. And I'm super grateful and blessed to have gotten through that. And as long as I don't put one in me, I won't have to experience it. My kids and family won't have to. But for now and for today, I want to live my life in the best way that I can. And in doing that, I am also serving them, the people who we've lost. My mother, my cousin Zach. I can name countless other people, but those two people, it really hit home because it was my mother and my favorite person on the planet, my cousin Zach. And if I don't live my life to the best that I can, then why am I doing it? If I'm not teaching my kids, if I'm not trying to learn more, if I'm not trying to, express myself in a way that I see fit. I feel as if I don't do anything, then why did we lose these people? And also, I kind of want to pose a question to you guys as well. What are some things that you're able to do with your life, that with your family or kids, or what are you able to do now that you weren't able to do when you were using? And kind of what are the I guess the promises. That's what they say in like step work or whatever. But what are the things that you have achieved, or what goals have you achieved because of your recovery and your sobriety? I know for me, just being a present dad, being a present person, knowing that if somebody calls on me and I'm there, that's the most. I mean, that's something. It's just you take for granted, before. And I thank God for the tools that or I thank I thank God for the tools that they've given me. And in the past, so I've been sober almost 7 years, and the first 2 years was 12-step work, but for the past four, I still use those principles in my life, and as things crop up, or if I feel something going on in my life, I will address those issues and try to fix them. Or if I feel myself acting some type of way towards another person, I'll check myself. But I always still try to be, honest and communicate with the people in my life, and I try to do the right thing, no matter what the situation is. So a lot of those principles and tools I still use today. But I also started doing, the marijuana maintenance, to help sleep, to help with anxiety. And also, like I have a lot of back pain, and it helps like just relax me. And it's not something that gets in the way of, my everyday life. I do it at the end of the night, whenever, I'm getting ready for bed, I want to relax, just like somebody would, drink a beer. And, but don't get it twisted. Like, if marijuana or if anything I was doing was to ever get into the way of my life or my goals, then those things would be taken out of my life. If I was spending too much money on marijuana or spending too much time smoking it, or I couldn't hold down a job, or these said things, then that becomes an issue in your life. Anything in your life that poses any type of negativity, needs to be addressed or at least looked at and be like, okay, well, am I doing too much of this? Whether it's shopping, whether it's eating, whether it's smoking too much weed, too many cigarettes, whatever it is. Everybody has some type of habit or some type of thing that they do on a regular basis, and but those are the difference between healthy habits and bad habits. Is when they infiltrate your life in a negative sense. Um, but and also here's another thing. The 40 states in the United States agree that it's either medically legal or it's recreationally legal. So the last 10 states that still have an issue with it, it blows my mind that marijuana is not legal on a federal scale, and they just left it up to the states. But it sucks when you live in one of those remaining states. But that's neither here nor there. I don't know. I just kind of wanted to see, all recovery is different. All people are different. And that is also why getting sober or changing your life is so difficult, because there's not one solution to this huge problem. It'd be great if it was. It'd be great if it was just like, hey, look, just take this pill, and tomorrow you're not an addict. Tomorrow you don't even think about it. Tomorrow your life will be as if you were never using. But we don't have that luxury. You don't have that. It's a mental game. And that, I think, outside, I think it's for like people who can't see it or can't understand it. Because it's a mental thing. People who judge addicts, and badmouth them or talk, well, why don't they just quit? Well, just looking at it, you would think that, oh my gosh, you just stop doing the thing that's slowly killing you and causing you to hurt people. Well, yeah, it would be nice. I wish I could, but when every part of your body is screaming, dope, 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 feed me, you know what I mean? Like, they need some type of intervention. Someone needs to intervene on their behalf, because they're not in any type of mental state to where they are making rational decisions. A lot of times it takes some type of miracle to get people, away from using, or, they have to go to jail. So, the government jumps in, family and friends, that we have Casey's Law. You can go and, if you are worried about someone, you can mandate them to go to rehab. I know a lot of people that have benefited from that. But at the time, you're like, no, just like the interventions. At the time, you hate every person in that room. You hate the arresting officer. You hate your mother for calling on you. You hate all of these people who only are doing it because they love you, but you don't know that at that moment. All you're thinking about is, you're taking my drugs away from me. You're taking this thing away from me, that this is all I've known for X amount of time. And they're just angry and mad, and you're a rat and you're a snitch. But once you're in jail, after you're done detoxing, or if you're in rehab after you're done detoxing, and you're done shitting yourself and puking and hating them for doing what they did, and wanting to leave, and then all of that starts to a little bit less. You're less sad and a little more happy. Someone makes you laugh from across the room. You see, as you are like coming out of that fog, and you're like, you know what? The people that did this because they loved me. So in the beginning, it may take somebody doing that for you to finally be able to come to that realization that, you know what, I need to do this, because they were willing to like make me hate them in order to do this one thing. So I'm going to do it. I'm going to try it. And in the beginning, you may do it for someone else, but then you end up finding that, hey, this is better for me. If I'm in recovery, I can hold down a job. I can save money and get a vehicle because I'm not going to be spending that money on drugs or alcohol. X, Y, and Z. You're able to see your life and build a foundation. And that's a beautiful thing. I mean, like, in the beginning, you don't really want to be there. You don't want to be anywhere involved with it, but then you're like, you know what, this is good. This is, and then when you hated somebody for doing that thing, now you appreciate it and you say, you know what, thank you. You saved my life. You helped save my life, because I know countless people who were sent to rehab by their family that just ended up getting out, relapsing, dying, or just getting out, relapsing, going back to jail, and just continue the vicious cycle. So yes, it may take somebody pushing you into a direction, but it's up to you, not anyone else. It's up to you to make that choice and to make that decision. Once the fog is lifted, it takes you say, you know what, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this for me. I'm going to do this for my future. I'm going to do this because I want to be more than these statistics. I want to be more than, a name on a wall, or you don't want. So just do it for you. Give it a shot, and there's many routes to get sober, and there's many routes of recovery. And that's also the cool thing about it, so, I don't know. For now, I think that's all I got. So if you have any questions, concerns, if you guys want to talk about some other stuff, just hit me up, let me know. I kind of want to do some short segments to where I can like have you guys, comment back, message back, and then I respond, do another video. That way it's like it's an ongoing conversation, where it started here and then somebody brings something up, some type of topic within that topic, and go a different route, or I see another perspective. So I'm up to any of that kind of stuff. But yeah, so if you can, like, subscribe, comment in the down below. Once again, all recovery is real recovery. Remember that. And thank you very much. Have a great day.